Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mysteries of Hyrule, where today I am once again joined by our co host Connor, and I am your host Duncan. Connor, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Today, I think it's gonna be a good episode.
Huge
I
old
think we
playing in
got,
the background, wonderful.
yeah. Ignore that.
Ignore it. Alright, never happened. Viewers, didn't happen. Alright, so.
That was my chair. I just want to state that for the record.
Oh no. So, today's topic is going to be the Happy Mask Salesman, and who the heck is this guy? Right? That's going to be our topic.
Well, he's a Happy Mask Salesman.
If you want to join the discussion, or you have any questions, feel free to join the Discord or email us at mysteriesofhyrule@gmail.com. That is in the description below for you to copy and paste as well. Feel free to email us any questions you have.
Hopefully, someone fixes the link for the Discord.
Hey, I put a fresh link in every episode. It's not my fault if
you should set it to where it never
expiration date is like
never. You can make it never expire.
How do I do that? You have to show me how to do that after the episode, because I don't know how to do that off the top
I
of
don't
my
know
head.
how to do that. I'm like, okay.
Okay, I'll figure it out, and then I'll make it so it doesn't expire.
So
I didn't
don't
know
worry,
you could do
guys.
that. I thought that was a paid thing. I thought that was a paid thing.
This one will have a link that you could for sure use forever.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, we'll have to do that after this. I thought that was something that you needed like nitro for or something. Oops. Alright. Ignoring that, we're gonna go ahead and get into the episode topic today. I know how I've been using Discord for like 4 years and didn't know you could do that. Wow. Alright.
Actually, it's worse. You've been using it for 6 years.
6? Oh no.
You've been a member since 2020.
Oh, okay. We're going to... Okay, let's ignore this. This never happened. Wonderful viewers, you've heard nothing. Today's topic. Yeah, that's a fun one. Who is the Happy Mask Salesman, and what is his story? So, I have many hypotheses on this guy. But first, Connor, I want to know what you think about him.
Okay. I think he's some sort of weird, like, I don't know what the right word is, like, entity, being, person, but like he's not like, I don't think he's not your standard Hylian.
You don't think he's human?
I don't think he's a standard Hylian.
That's really
there's something different about him with like just the way he is and acts and like the stuff that he knows.
I need to point you to a theory after this, and to all of our viewers as well. There is a theory called Moon God theory. Let me see if I can find it real quick in the original person behind it. But give me 1 second here while I pull it up. But while I pull this up, why do you think that, Connor?
He's so mysterious in Majora's Mask, and it feels like he knows stuff about Termina, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, like, the way he acts, and he acts towards Link and Majora's Mask, and just everything, it feels like that there's something that he knows that we don't. And not like he just is more well-informed, but like there's something that it feels like is different about him.
There's a theory that I want to point you to. After this, you should go watch it at some point. This is a theory by thinking at max volume. It is the Happy Mask Horned Statue theory. It's a 2-hour theory, so it's a pretty decent watch, but if you have a free afternoon, you should totally go check it out. Thinking at mask volume here provided us with a theory with a lot of evidence, and I mean a lot of hard evidence, to the point where I'm almost swayed from my theory, which I've had for years. He is saying, so in Majora's Mask, it is implied there's a moon god. In Shinto religion, which the god hierarchy in the Zelda universe is based off of, has 3 deities. So you have like the 3 golden goddesses, and then Those three other deities beneath them, a goddess of light, a goddess of
Hylia.
chaos, and a god of shadow, right? So that would be Hylia, Demise, and then we're missing Shadow. Right? So we're missing one. If for it to be based on this religion, we're missing a god. This theory basically states that the moon god that's been vaguely mentioned across the franchise is that third god, the god of shadow, and then it states that the bargainer and the cursed statue are both extensions of this god, and it argues that the Happy Mask Salesman is the physical form, or at least the humanoid form, of this god. And there's a ton of connections that he was able to pull up between all of it. And it's a really good theory. He's able to connect all of them very well. And I mean, there's a couple parts in the video where, like, he will randomly go completely off topic, and it's like, where the hell is this going? And then at the end, he'll just randomly wrap it up, and you're like, what? That's crazy. It's a really good theory, and I recommend checking it out. But it does explain a lot of what we see with the Happy Mask Salesman. Like you mentioned, if he isn't Hylian, I think this is like if he isn't just some schmo who accidentally discovered alternate dimensions, I think this is the next best answer.
Yes, I don't think he's just some schmo who discovered alternate dimensions. That's my personal. That's what I believe.
Yeah, I really recommend going and checking it out whenever you have a chance. It is also split into like 5 or 6 20-minute segments as well, if you want to watch it in smaller sittings throughout. But I watched like the big 2-hour one. It was really good. It's a really solid theory. He has a lot of good evidence for it too. There's a lot of connections. He's able to connect every single appearance of the Happy Mask Salesman. He's able to tie in evidence for it. It's a really good theory. But yeah, that just immediately, what you said, it made me immediately think of that theory because it's just such a good theory. I think it's a really good explanation for who he is.
What is your thoughts?
So my thoughts, I can definitely see that theory. I occasionally flip-flop between what I think and that theory because it's a really good theory, but I like to keep both in mind when thinking about the Happy Mask Salesman because they're both very valid. My theory, and this is a little bit more of a common one, but it is one that I kind of thought up on my own. I'm sure I'm not the first to kind of put this theory out there, but my hypothesis on what the Happy Mask Salesman is that he is an ancient merchant who, by some means of fate or accident, accidentally discovered Termina, other dimensions, and became this kind of background character that I still don't know what his motives would be, but that he's just kind of going throughout the timeline for some means. So, and the reason I think this, so starting off obviously with Majora's Mask, he's this person who seems to know a lot more than he lets on. He seems to know what this dimension is, what it's like. He seems to know the origin of Majora's Mask, which means he's very, very old. And then, on top of just overall being a very strange individual, he knows a lot of magic, spells. He knows about masks and how they work. He knows about spirits and all this sort of stuff. And then he also has some other appearances. We see him in Ocarina of Time. He is the owner of the Happy Mask shop. It's unclear if these masks have magical properties, but we know some of them do, so there's still that connection there. And he's also implied to be the same person in both. Then again, we see him in Oracle of Ages, and he owns a shop with a bunch of masks on the wall, and he once again appears to be the same salesman from the other two, having the same clothes and appearance and everything. In this game, he's just part of the trading quest. He just gives you a mask, similar to Ocarina of Time. So he's just kind of running a shop here. But the locals refer to him as a shady businessman.
Well, I mean, he kind of is.
Yeah, he is pretty shady. But there's more connections. In the previous episode, I was talking about the Skyward Sword and Phantom Hourglass connections, so I'll kind of go into those. So I'll save the Skyward Sword one for last. In Phantom Hourglass, we meet a man called the Man of Smiles. He is similarly very mysterious, very, very weird, and he shares an almost identical look with the Happy Mask Salesman, to the point where he's probably the same guy, just under a different alias. And then, these are one of the more interesting ones. In Minish Cap, we see a mayor. Now, this mayor is seemingly, at first glance, very different. He has different color hair, and he has a mustache. You could argue that he almost looks like an older version of the Happy Mask Salesman, if anything. But he's pretty different. But the main connection is that behind him there is 4 masks on the wall. The same masks. Okay, 3 of them are the masks that we see in the Happy Mask Salesman shop in the Oracle game. The other one is a mask of the Gyorg boss from Majora's Mask. Which is really interesting. It's very weird that he has the Happy Mask Salesman mask.
That is weird.
That is weird, and I mean, while not looking identical, he has a similar enough haircut, and same skin complexion, same eye color as the Happy Mask Salesman. Could argue he's the same person. You could make that argument. Then we go all the way back to Skyward Sword, and we can meet a man named Rupin. He is identical to the Happy Mask Salesman. Same face, same smile, same hair. Not the same clothing, but very similar style of clothing. In his house, he also has some miscellaneous masks hanging in his shop, and we actually get his name. I think it's Rupin. Let me double check. Shopkeeper name.
I don't remember. It's something like that. Also, just the way he acts reminds me a lot of him.
Yeah, he does the same thing, like where Happy Mask Salesman and Majora's Mask goes, where he kind of like teleports around.
Yeah.
Remember that thing he does? He does it.
Yeah.
He does the same thing in Skyward Sword. It's Rupin, not Rupor. Sorry, it's Rupin. But there's this guy Rupin in Skyward Sword who is basically, he's just identical to the Happy Mask Salesman. He doesn't seemingly have any magic powers or anything. He seems to be a normal guy. So my theory, right? Here's my theory. We have Rupin here, who is this very greedy, shady business owner in Skyward Sword. Then, the surface is discovered. He probably sees that as an opportunity to start a business, pure profit. He likes treasure. Anyways, he likes treasure hunting. He loves treasure. He loves to go adventuring and get into go treasure hunting. He loves it, right? So he goes down to the surface. He goes exploring. I think while he does this, in Faron Woods, he accidentally stumbles upon the portal to Termina. Same as Link.
Maybe.
Then, I think he travels to Termina, discovers an alternate reality. He is now the first individual, apart from the gods themselves, to discover alternate realities. I think he then discovers, if this is as far back in the timeline as we think it is, maybe Termina is still, like, in its heyday with all the portals open. He's able to go between dimensions. He's able to learn about these different realities, how time works differently, and all this sort of stuff. He learns about, magic. He learns about the magical masks from Termina. Maybe he learns it from there. He learns about Majora and the Majora's Mask. And I think we see him go, basically adventuring, going treasure hunting from reality to reality. Kind of exploring, figuring out what's going on. So, like, maybe he travels to the realm of the Ocean King. He travels to Labrina to start shop, or maybe that's after the event of Majora's Mask. And then he goes to Hyrule. He creates his shop. Then, Ganondorf is about to start a war. He knows it's coming because he's been to the future. So he dips out and he goes back to Termina. And then that's when, like, the events of Majora's Mask happen and everything. And I think that's what he is. I think he's this individual who accidentally discovered the greater reality of this world, and he's been using it to his own advantage. Because he even in Majora's Mask, he's like a very selfish entity. He doesn't care about anyone in Termina. He just wants the mask for himself. He wants the power of the mask for something. Maybe just because he likes collecting treasure. Maybe he's looking for more magical power. I don't know. I don't have an answer. But that's what my interpretation of the Mask Salesman is. Is that he is...
I don't think that's bad.
Yeah. Is that he's... I think he's Rupin from Skyward Sword, who then discovered all these other realities. You know, he is pretty... He does seems to be well educated in Skyward Sword. So maybe he researches the stuff. Maybe, you know, he's doing his research, he's learning about how these realities work, how time works differently, and stuff like that. And maybe that's
so my biggest question would be how is he still alive, but with time working differently in different realities?
Yeah, he could have used time. And that explains why we see him older in Minish Cap, potentially. Maybe after he's adventured for so long, he finally decides to settle down in Hyrule's, in that era of Hyrule, because it is one of the more peaceful eras. So maybe, like, after he's done his adventuring, after he's, you know, after the whole event of Majora's Mask and everything, maybe after all that, he finally decides to settle down with his mask collection in Hyrule, and he becomes the mayor. And that's a possibility.
I just wonder, how would he travel back in time?
How he would travel back. I mean, we don't know how many dimensions there are. We don't know how time works and all, but just the fact that time can move differently. And he does seem to know about the Ocarina of Time and its time-traveling magic. So maybe he knows how to reverse time. Maybe that's why he's not fazed by the time travel in Majora's Mask. Maybe he's been using Termina for the same thing.
Maybe.
He can just time travel back and forth in Termina to whatever point he needs to be, wherever he needs to go to. Is definitely a possibility. Very interesting. And there's also an argument to be made with some of his masks to other dimensions he's been to. Like, I like to look at the Mario mask and use that as a possible explanation that maybe he's even been to Koholint while it was still real, for like the brief time period it was real. Because I mean, even if it was briefly real, it would have always been real if he can time travel.
Sure.
I don't know. Interesting.
Could he go into dreams if it's Dream Island?
Well, I mean, we still doing episode Link's Awakening. It kind of depends if you think Koholint Island is entirely a dream, or if it is a real place while the Windfish is sleeping, and then ceases to exist. Because both are valid. Because Breath of the Wild and Eventide Island kind of imply that Koholint Island was a real place that was then warped by the Windfish's dream.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, there's arguments to be made, and that's something we could do a full episode on in the future. But like, that's just me speculating up the wazoo.
I mean, it's not bad per se.
No, that's what I've believed for the longest time on who the Happy Mask Salesman is, because it not only does it give like a very satisfying character arc to him. You know, we see him first in Ocarina of Time Majora's Mask, then we see him traveling dimensions, then we get his origin story, then his retirement. Like, it gives his full character like a fully fleshed out story, if that's true. It's the only problem with it is it still doesn't give him a good motivation. It still doesn't give him a good like what is he doing this for, other than just, I don't know, maybe he likes to go treasure hunting. Which the moon god theory does give an explanation for his kind of motivation and all that. And it's really interesting there. I mean, there's so many different interpretations of this character. It's hard to settle on just one, so I flip-flop back and forth. Right now, even though moon god theory is really good, I tend to lean towards the Rupin theory, but it could easily go either way. If either of those are even remotely correct. It could be something completely different that we don't know about. What do you think?
That could be. I don't know.
All right. Well, all right. So what were we talking about just then? Sorry, we had to do a strange cut.
What were we talking about?
Moon God theory.
Moon God theory. Yeah.
So yeah.
I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment. But I'm like, from the name, why wouldn't Majora be the Moon God? You know what I mean? I haven't seen the theory yet.
The theory states that Majora is this like demon of chaos, more akin to like Demise, and he kind of states that the Happy Mask. There's a lot of evidence, and it would take forever to go through.
Yeah.
But he states that the Happy Mask Salesman is the Moon God, because he has a lot of the same personality traits to the Bargainer and the Cursed Statue. They both, and that he understands spirits in a similar way to the Bargainer statue and the Cursed Statue, and how to manipulate spirits, trade with like mess with like someone's physical and mental health. But yeah, the evidence kind of goes that the Happy Mask Salesman is similar to in personality and understanding spirits and health to the Bargainer and also the Cursed Statue, and that between the three of those, they all share connections to this kind of... They're not connections, they share the same traits that this Shadow God does in Shinto religion, and considering that most of the Zelda religion is based off Shinto, it's weird for this missing god to be there. But then we have this mysterious background character, like the Bargainer, who does line up perfectly with that character, and then also is very similar to the Mask Salesman in personality and what he knows and does. With the whole, helping people move on in the same way that the Happy Mask Salesman knows the Song of Healing and gives the Song of Healing to allow people to move on. Very similar to the Bargainer in that sense, but then also very similar to the Cursed Statue in trading life, because the Bargainer says he trades life similar to the Cursed Statue. And that's basically the evidence and argument behind it, and that's why they say the Happy Mask Salesman's the Moon God and not Majora, because Majora, while a decent pick, doesn't have that kind of sense, because the Shadow God is not evil, but he's more so like the ferryman, right, where he helps spirits pass on, and we see the Happy Mask Salesman and Bargainer doing the same thing.
Okay. Awesome sauce.
But that's kind of where that comes in at.
That makes sense.
But before that theory, did you have a more solid idea of who he was, or what you thought?
Not really. I'm gonna be honest.
This is kind of mysterious entity.
Yeah. Yeah, some sort of mysterious entity thing. But I wasn't too sure on who he was, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I wish I had my manga on with me too, because the manga also gives some really cool detail to his character. So one thing that's really cool about the Happy Mask Salesman in the book as well, and I'm going to jump back into the book because I really like Majora's Mask book. It provides a lot of details and blank spaces for the game. One thing that's really interesting about the Happy Mask Salesman that also kind of lines up with how we see him in Majora's Mask, not fully, is that he's almost self-aware. To an extreme extent. His first introduction is him in character talking to the reader of the book. Which is really weird.
That is really weird.
The book opens with the Happy Mask Salesman talking to you, the reader.
Huh.
Which, if we take the books as still canon, just to their own alternate universe, implies the Happy Mask Salesman knows that he's in a fake reality. In the game counterpart, this could be either him talking to the spirit of the hero potentially, or I really don't like this interpretation, but it could be him talking to the player, which, I mean, the player and the spirit of the hero are meant to be the same, one and the same, so, I mean, you could take that either way. But that implies that he either knows that his universe is fake, and that he's or a creation of the gods, and that he's talking to the gods directly, or he knows it's a game, or, you know, some combination of things like that, which is very interesting. I think it's one of the most interesting questions about the Happy Mask Salesman is, what does he know? What is the limits to what he knows? Because he seems to know more than anyone. Like, even more than Ganondorf. And Ganondorf's been around for a long time and knows a lot of shit. I mean, he knows about Demise's curse. He knows about some old stuff. But it's very interesting. Of like, what does this? What do you think? What do you think? I guess.
I mean, yeah, it's very interesting that he can break the fourth wall. That is, in the manga, that is.
It's insane. Like
that is actually like, because then he knows that he's in a book.
Yeah.
Which is just like, is he the only character in the manga to ever do that?
Yep, the only one. And he doesn't do it in front of anyone either. He makes sure he does it when he's alone as well. And like that adds a whole nother layer. Like he just knows. It's like it makes me wonder how that's meant to be interpreted. Like is that being interpreted literally as he knows his world is fake and fictional? Or is he talking to some higher being, like a god or the spirit of the hero or something?
I don't know. I think that means that he knows. That's what I think of. That's the way that I would interpret that as, personally.
Let me look manga Majora's Mask. I just want to make sure I'm not getting any details wrong here.
Yeah.
Opening. Images. Yeah, it's just him. Okay, so yeah, the opening is him in a void, looking directly at you, telling you what the Majora's Mask is and what it can do, and then it hard cuts to the beginning of Majora's Mask.
Yeah, no, he's definitely playing some sort of like narrator type, and
yeah,
definitely knows.
And the whole time he is smiling and giggling and being his usual creepy self.
Happy Mask Salesman creeps me out sometimes.
He's such an interesting character. Because just like, what is going on? Because like every single time we learn something about him, it just makes him even more mysterious. Like, what is his deal? Because like at first it's, you know, he can teleport around and he knows more than what he lets on. Then he starts appearing across the timeline. Then we see him and he's given an actual name, but like seemingly before he was the mask salesman or anything. Then, you know, in this book, he can seemingly break the fourth wall, and it's really weird how much he knows. It's like, I wonder how much he knows.
Yeah, I think he's got to be some sort of entity being, like some sort of, there's something up with him.
Yeah, there's definitely something.
He's not, I don't think he's a normal height.
Yeah, he's either not a normal Hylian, or if he is, he's learned more about this world than any other character has.
Yeah, or discovered something.
Yeah.
Like some sort of item.
I don't even
some
think
sort of secret technique, or I don't know. Some weird knowledge book. I don't know. Something.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very strange. I just noticed as well, looking at an image of him, one of the masks that he has on his backpack is the same mask we see in the shop in the Oracle games, and on the wall, and it's the same like fourth mask that's weird. In the mayor's building in Minish Cap, which does further imply a connection between the mayor and him, because it's the same mask that's on his backpack.
That is really interesting.
I don't know. It's so weird that, like, at least in the book, again, the book is debatably canon, but given the fact that it is its own timeline and own continuity, and the then head of the main story director of the Zelda franchise also oversaw the books. I don't know. He helped fill in a lot of the gaps. It's weird that he can just do that. What?
It is weird.
What would be your first thought? Like, what's your first thought when you hear that?
There is he has some sort of magical abilities. Like, he's not a normal Hylian, at the very least. Like, if he maybe is an actual Hylian, he's not a normal Hylian. There's some sort of magical abilities or some sort of curse or something.
Ooh, curse is good. I didn't consider that.
There's just something.
There's something up with him. And I wish it would be so cool to finally get answers on him, but I don't think we ever will. It's like every single time we do get anything on him, it just makes him even more mysterious.
Yeah.
Like, why can he break the fourth wall? What does that imply about the world that he can break the fourth wall?
I don't know. But I don't know.
You know what would be You know what would be a crazy reveal? Ooh,
what?
let's talk about this for the sake of speculation, because this is interesting.
Huh?
What if Misko the Bandit and the Happy Mask Salesman are one and the same? I just want to see where that discussion can lead us.
Why? Like, that doesn't make sense to me, I guess.
For them to be the same?
Okay, well, I guess I'm thinking about... I forget about some of the stuff from Tears of the Kingdom, even though I did all the side stuff in that outside of the Koroks. The Korok's the only thing from Tears of the Kingdom I never finished.
Fair.
Because it's a lot of Koroks.
Well, the reason I bring Misko to Bandit in mind is because
you're right, because all the armor sets as well.
He has a lot of... Yeah, he has the Misko the Bandit had the Majora's Mask. The last person to have Majora's Mask was the Happy Mask Salesman. He also had the Fierce Deity armor. Majora's Mask, or Happy Mask Salesman would have probably also had the Fierce Deity mask. He also was he also traveled the land and was a treasure hunter, if we go with Rupin being the Happy Mask Salesman. Which you can believe Rupin is still like some other being. Or maybe it's like Zelda is to Hylia. It could also be an explanation. And so you have these two characters that are treasure hunters, have the same objects, are strangely all over the timeline, because like Misko the Bandit apparently was around during the Calamity, but then Tears of the Kingdom tells us that he was around way, way before the Calamity. The Happy Mask Salesman is also known to be all over the timeline. There's not some bad connections there between them.
It actually is not horrible. I don't think there's enough to make it like,
there's not enough,
100%. But I think
there's not enough to make it anything more than speculation, but there's enough to at least get there.
I agree.
You can jump. It's a far jump, but you can jump to that conclusion.
Yeah, I actually don't hate that idea, and the more I think about it, like, it would also explain how he has all of the like the Link's Awakening armor as well.
Yeah.
Or wasn't there some other ones in Tears of the Kingdom that he had?
Yeah, because he had
was it just the Link's Awakening?
He had Link's Awakening. He had all the armor sets from all the other Links. He had the Fierce Deity set, the Majora's Mask. He had the Fused Shadow. He had Zan's helmet.
Some of the other ones, the Link ones, were in the depths in Tears.
Some of them were in the depths, and we know Misko knew about the depths.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very interesting to think about, and it also gives Majora's Mask an explanation. on why it just randomly pops back up here towards Breath of the Wild. Especially if we go on the assumption that Misko the Bandit and Happy Mask Salesman are the same. It's very interesting.
It is, actually. At first I thought, like, oh, that's a horrible idea. But I'm like, it's not actually that bad.
There's something there. There's definitely something that you can make of that. Whether it's true or not is debatable, but there's something you can make there. So, like, what would that mean then? What do you think that would mean if they were the same?
That. Why would he give up Majora's Mask? That's interesting. That is interesting to think about.
Yeah, it seems more like it's hidden away.
Yeah.
Because the Majora's Mask is one of the sets that's like... Because there's two types, right? There's the ones that he's like purposely... That Misko is like purposely hidden away and then given clues to find. And then there's other ones that he's just straight up buried. Like in the depths, or just like... Are seemingly have no way of you knowing how to get there.
Oh, that's true, like Majora's Mask in Tears of the Kingdom. You have to fight all those Lionels. It feels
it's like very well protected. Like it is... You are not supposed to be able to get this kind of... like, you have to go through several Lionels, which most normal players are never going to get that. That's like one of the late game items, right? Like, if you weren't late, you're not getting it.
That was one of the first items I got.
Of course it was.
Well, okay, to be fair, I knew how to fight Lionel from Breath of the Wild.
Fair.
And then I stumbled upon it, and I was like, there's got to be some insane reward for this.
It also explains, if Misko and Happy Mask Salesman are the same, it also explains the weird discrepancy between Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom's items. If he can just hop around the timeline as much as he wants.
It does. It does.
So why, in that case, my question would then be, is why? Why is he hiding these things?
I don't know. It's an excellent question.
You know what?
What?
Taking into consideration his multiple, a good chunk of his entries throughout the game, in most cases, he is helping Link on his quest. In Skyward Sword, he is selling him his items and supplies. In Majora's Mask, he's helping him, save Termina and return the mask to him. He helps him get his ocarina. In the Oracle games, he's part of he's part of like the side quest, trade quest, which while not completely, well, half of that quest is necessary in the main story. I wonder if he's in that half or if he's in the optional half. Either way, it aids the hero. Then, in Majora's Mask, or not Majora's Mask, sorry, Minish Cap, the mayor aids Link on finding a hidden Picori settlement in Castletown. And so would it be another instance of him helping Link by hiding these items for him?
I feel like, yeah, he could.
Like helping
could maybe
Link
be helping Link. Yeah, I just don't think that's a bad idea. Bad theory.
Yeah, it's not a terrible theory. If he's helping Link, though, then why? Because he seems to be a very selfish individual. So it would be if he is truly selfish, and it's not just like a face. If we go through the assumption that he is like just a selfish guy, and he's kind of
in Majora's Mask, it's to get Majora's Mask back.
Yeah. And on the Oracle games, he only cares about himself. He doesn't really care about you or anything. He's like, give this to me, I need this. And then he gives you something.
And then Minish Cap,
he's the
mayor, you know what I mean?
He's a politician, yeah.
So we want the people to be living better lives because then they're more likely to like him.
Why would he, if he is this kind of selfish individual, why would he be helping Link?
To benefit himself. There's some sort of gain that he would get from...
Maybe. What would that gain be, though?
I think it depends on the game.
Depends on the game?
I think. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is the only one that I have no idea.
What would be your excuse for that? Well, yeah, for Majora's Mask, it's easy. He wants the Majora's Mask. For Skyward Sword, it's easy. He wants money. For Ocarina of Time, same reason. He wants money. I mean, like, if you're this kind of omniscient entity, though, why would you even need money? Especially when he seems to be more after, like, magical items.
I don't. Well, I mean, you know, money makes the world go round.
Fair.
A lot of people like money, so you know it wouldn't hurt to add. And since he doesn't sell Link the Masks in Ocarina, he just lends them. So he's not giving them to him. He's letting him.
Shit, hold on. Even in Ocarina of Time, you need the one mask to progress the story, right? The bunny mask? Or am I misremembering? Is that in every game that he's in, with the exception of Phantom Hourglass, is he necessary to progress the game? Hold on.
Maybe?
Maybe? That's really interesting if it's true. If he's necessary to progress the game in all of his appearances.
I've always messed with the masks in Ocarina, so I can't exactly say if they're necessary or not.
I want to say you need the bunny mask. I might be wrong, but I think the bunny mask is a necessity. And it's like the first one, so that makes sense. And then in Majora's Mask, obviously, is part of the main story. In the Oracle games, if he is in the first half of the trading route, which I don't remember, then you have to interact with him at least once, if that's true. In Skyward Sword, he's the main shopkeeper, and then in Minish Cap, you need to speak with the mayor to get to the Koi settlement. Then the only exceptions would be Phantom Hourglass, where he's a super rare chance encounter, and then again in the Wild games, where you can technically go the whole time without finding any of his equipment, although it's very unlikely, at least in Tears of the Kingdom. Breath of the Wild, he's a core part of the DLC. I don't know. That's kind of weird.
It is kind of weird.
Maybe he's just finding ancient artifacts for the love of the game? I don't know. I don't know, it's strange for him to be so integral to the main story plot. He does seem, even though he is kind of selfish, maybe he does seem to like genuinely be helping people. In Majora's Mask, he gives you the Song of Healing, which allows people to move on after they pass away. In Ocarina of Time, he's trading out these masks almost for free. He's making a little bit of profit, but he's almost doing it for free. He has no guarantee. The Oracle games, he's just straight up being a selfish bloat. So in Phantom Hourglass, he has that really weird line of like, "You make me smile," and like he's just really creepy and weird in that one. Minish Cap, he, like you said, he's a politician. He's making everyone's lives better in Castletown. I don't know. His motives are weird and kind of all over the place.
He is all over the place.
I wonder. I guess we're getting really close to time, so we should probably start wrapping this up. So, I think my final question to you is, I wonder if, and do you think Nintendo is ever going to, if not fully explain him, give us more details on him?
I think.
Look something up while you do that.
I think yes. I think yes, because if the rumors about the Ocarina of Time remake is true, he will be back in people's minds, right?
True.
Then, if they make an Ocarina of Time remake, a lot of people are going to be like, make a Majora's Mask one too. And so then I think if they do that,
shit!
If you make an Ocarina of Time one,
real quick.
What's up?
I'm gonna cut you off real quick. I was looking up if Misko was in Age of Imprisonment. Well, I'm not saying anything. Apparently in Tears of the Kingdom, it's a reference that he is a fan of fancy clothing and fashion. In every depiction of the Happy Mask Salesman, he is wearing some very fancy, decorated clothing. He was also Misko the Bandit was also an infamous pirate. The Smiling Man is a pirate. Huh.
Makes you wonder. Makes you wonder who Misko truly is. And if the Happy Mask Salesman is Misko.
Oh, I accidentally hit the wall. Okay, I'm not seeing on Google if Misko is mentioned anywhere in Age of Imprisonment, but I'm doing a 100% run, so if I end up finding anything, I'll mention it in a future episode. So you think they're gonna? Do you think after Ocarina of Time, you think they're going to try and provide some more details on the Mask Salesman?
I think that it's going to open up the idea for more people,
Yeah.
and I think if they do a Ocarina of Time, I think if there is an Ocarina of Time remake, I think they're gonna probably add more, because like look at the Star Fox 64 remake, Star Fox.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're adding more to it, right?
Yeah, they're adding a lot.
I didn't watch the full. Yeah, they're adding a lot more to it, and so I'm just thinking, if they do an Ocarina of Time remake in the same vein as the Star Fox remake, I think there could be more there.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that, oh yeah, guaranteed there is, but I'm just like, there could be. And so I think that there is a real chance.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's possible. I really hope we do get more on the Mask Salesman, especially if Misko does end up being the Mask Salesman, because I just looked at I didn't know about all that about Misko and Tears of the Kingdom. If that's true, that's huge. That's a ton of evidence for him being the Mask Salesman.
Yeah.
If that's true, if we go off the assumption that Misko is potentially the Mask Salesman, and then we also get Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, which both have the Happy Mask Salesman, that's a lot to do with the Mask Salesman in a relatively short amount of time. Not to mention, I say, he hasn't just constantly been a omniscient thing since his first appearance. He's been in Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Age of Imprisonment, Phantom Hourglass, Minish Cap, Skyward Sword, potentially the Wild Games. I mean, I don't know. It's very interesting. I do hope they give us more about him. I don't know if I would want him to be fully answered. I mean, it would be nice. It would be cool. I wouldn't complain. But I think his whole character at this point is just, what is he? So I think it would be kind of weird to come out of the blue and answer what he is. But I could definitely see them providing more details on him. Maybe canonizing some of the more speculative details that we can only guess about. Yeah. Alright, well, we are running very short on time, so I don't know if we have time to do any episodes today.
I don't think really so.
Unless you don't. No questions this episode then?
No questions. I think we're good.
Alright, so well, if y'all do want y'all's questions answered, or you want to join the discussion, you can still join the Discord, or ask your questions on mysteriesofhyrule@gmail.com, which is in the description for you to copy and paste. We'll answer any questions you have in future episodes. But until then, you all have a wonderful time, and we will see you all next week with another episode of Mysteries of Hyrule. You all have a good one, and we'll see you all then. Bye! Bye.